Before deciding on a course of action, prudent managers evaluate the situation confronting them. Unfortunately, some managers are overcautious and take costly steps to defend against unlikely outcomes. Others are overconfident, underestimating the range of potential outcomes. And still others are highly impressionable, allowing memorable events in their past to dictate their view of what might be possible now. And in many cases, the process is to blame. Let's see what I mean by this. Mind traps are not the only pitfalls to watch out for in problem solving. Process traps, which are flaws or errors in the way the problem-solving model is approached, can also prevent you from finding effective solutions. Four main types of process traps are very common. Failing to involve the right people in addressing a given problem. Failing to involve the right people, those who know the problem best and are affected by it directly, is a common mistake. It can result in you choosing a solution based on insufficient information that isn't available or suitable. For example, IT experts develop a highly sophisticated program to improve the efficiency of a company's accounting process. If they do this without consulting staff in the accounting department, the program may fail to address the company's actual needs or prove to be too complex for the staff to use. Taking on problems that are too large, vague, or general is another process trap. It can be frustrating and demotivating to take on a problem that's too big, vaguely defined, or general. This type of process trap can cause confusion and loss of momentum. Say you're tasked with improving productivity, that's one potential example, in a large multinational company. Unless you focus on more specific goals, like improving the productivity of particular processes or departments, each of the steps of the problem-solving model is likely to be overwhelming. Bypassing proper analyzing of a problem. Problem solvers often bypass the analysis stage if they are under pressure to produce solutions. This can result in superficial causes being blamed or weak and faulty solutions being accepted. Say a critical system is malfunctioning. This is one potential example to prove this process trap. Someone under pressure may immediately opt to replace the full system rather than isolating and replacing a single faulty component. And the last one, failing to plan the implementation of a chosen solution or evaluation of its success. Sometimes, just coming to a solution is so exhausting that problem solvers give up when it comes to planning how to implement the solution and evaluate its performance. This can prevent a potentially viable solution from succeeding. For example, to help ease administrative backlog, property agency decides to give its sales agents new customized notebook computers. However, the customization plans take so long that by the end of planning, no one has considered the most cost-effective way to distribute the notebooks. The notebooks are handed out only to a few agents, and down the line, no one bothers to check if the administrative backlog has dropped significantly. You can avoid common process traps by ensuring you use a systematic and well-defined problem-solving model. In the 6-step model, each of the steps prevents particular types of process traps. Failing to involve the right people. You address the trap of failing to involve the right people when you first define and analyze a problem and assemble a problem-solving team. Assembling a team is not an official part of the 6-step model, but it is vital for ensuring you get the most relevant information you can about the problem and its possible solutions. Taking on problems that are too vague. The step of defining a problem clearly can prevent you from attempting to address problems that are too large or vague. By defining a problem well, you may make it discrete and ensure it can be subjected to further useful analysis. Bypassing analysis. In the 6-step model, the steps of analyzing a problem, identifying possible solutions, and choosing the best solution ensure that you don't misdiagnose a problem or simply accept the first feasible idea for addressing it. They encourage you to dig deeper, assess possible causes and solutions, and be critical. Failing to plan or evaluate implementation. The steps of planning action and implementing the solution and reviewing process ensure that you don't fail to plan how to put a solution into action, to evaluate its success and to have a backup plan in case this isn't working. Time to practice again. Read the question, stop the video and try to find out the correct answers. one customer service agent has tackled a problem but with unsatisfactory results. Develop your own scenario. This is a potential answer to my scenario. Try to adapt this set of answers to your scenarios. In my scenario, the first option is a correct option because the agent was in a hurry. He didn't provide the customer with a contact person for the weekend in case the customer required further assistance. The agent therefore had no way to check the effectiveness of his solution. The second option is an incorrect option. The problem was clearly defined because the customer specified what information she needed. The third option, in my example, is correct because the agent was under pressure to resolve the call. He didn't analyze the customer's real needs. As a result, he provided a report that was not the most effective solution for the customer's problem. The last option is incorrect. In my example, the agent had access to the required information and had the expertise to deal with a query. In this case, it wasn't necessary for him to involve others in addressing the problem. Perhaps here we need to stress this out. The most dangerous trap of all is one that lurks behind all the other traps, that of complacency. If you are complacent, you will fail to be vigilant to the traps, and it's unlikely you will identify problems clearly or arrive at the best possible solutions. To counter complacency, it's essential that you remain alert and aware of how various mind and process traps can compromise your effectiveness in solving problems. It is also critical to be honest about your weaknesses and encourage others to alert you to this when necessary. Let's practice again to better understand. Start from this and develop a full scenario for this situation. Again, stop the video and try to practice. After, of course, you will see the situation. What effects have mind traps and process traps had on the problem-solving process in your scenario? Read the question and read the potential answers. Again, stop the video and try to think about a way of responding correctly to this question. This is my answer in an example valid for my scenario. Adapt this to yours. For me, A is the correct option because Rachel failed to plan implementation of her chosen solution. She didn't consider what to do if her solution failed. For me again, the second solution is incorrect. Rachel's analysis cut through the symptoms to reveal what the real problem was. The customer didn't have proof of purchase. This is an incorrect option, the third one. Rachel used selective supporting information in the analysis stage and the solution selection stage, not in the definition stage. The last solution is incorrect because John's favorable opinion to Rachel's initial sympathy for the customer influenced her thinking throughout the process. Well, this is not actually the last solution, this is the fourth potential one. The actual last solution is correct. Rachel assumed her manager would sympathize with the customer, and this influenced her choice of situation. Using the same scenario, what actions should Rachel take to avoid these traps in future? Try to read the potential answers and think what could be the right actions for Rachel to take in the future. Again, in my scenario, this would be my answers. Try to use the explanations to see if your answers are consistent and fall into the logic of our problem-solving model. My first option is incorrect. Rachel shouldn't base her decisions on conformity to popular opinion, because the correct decision is based on merit rather than social acceptance. Instead, she should shield herself from social influence. My second option is the correct option. In my case, considering historical data and alternate views will help Rachel transcend her assumptions and personal bias. The third answer, in my case, is correct. Proper planning will allow Rachel to put her solution to maximum effect, evaluate its success or failure, and shift to a backup plan if needed. The fourth option is an incorrect option. Asking leading questions is likely to result in biased information, which will impair the effectiveness of the problem-solving process. To conclude this lesson, techniques exist to overcome each one of the problems with problem solving. For instance, since the way a problem is posed can influence how you think about it, try to reframe the question in various ways and ask yourself how your thinking might change for each version. Even if we can't eradicate the distortions ingrained in the way our minds work, we can build tests like this into our decision-making process to improve the quality of the choices we make. Next, let's think about developing problem-solving competencies.